Hello and welcome to Dead Letter Movie Chat, episode 11. 11! Haha! Recorded Sunday, October 19th, 2014. I'm Tim.
I'm Andrew.
And today we are going to talk about a movie. We're a little late in getting our word out on it. The BoxTrolls, new stop motion film by Leica Animation Studio. This is a movie about a town called Cheesebridge, in which there are trolls who live in boxes, and the people who live in the town who love their cheese and fear the trolls. And the story of one boy who comes and, as might be expected, changes things.
So this is obviously an NC-17 adult drama. No, it's it is it's animated. Did you mention it was animated?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's stop motion animation, all clay figures moving about. And it has a very good voice cast. People you may not realize but you know. Harris is in it. Both Nick, both Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are in it as well, who you may not quite realize it's them throughout the film. And kind of to my surprise, Tracy Morgan is in the movie. I did not realize it till the credits. And and Leica, who had used Dakota Fanning in their previous film Coraline, has now moved on to her sister Elle Fanning for the female protagonist. This is also the boy that Tim mentioned. This is that actor's first thing, I believe. It says introducing this kid's name that I'm totally blanking on.
Let's see here, Isaac Hempstead Wright.
There it is, yeah. And it's
and also Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yes. Oh yeah, yes, Ben Kingsley, who does not usually sound this British. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Really enjoyed the voice work by the entire cast. I didn't honestly recognize any of them. Mm-hmm. Ben Kingsley didn't sound like Ben Kingsley. Tracy Morgan did not sound like Tracy Morgan. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Yeah. Jared Harris. Yeah, a bit.
But it also helped that Jared Harris's character that he voiced also looked like Jared Harris. So
that's true. That's true. He did.
There you go. How did you feel about the film as a whole?
Well, I liked the film. I thought it was charming. I like their aesthetic that they have used in their previous films as well. Now, I actually have not seen Coraline, but I did see their previous movie, Paranorman, which was very, very similar in style in a lot of ways, in just the look and feel of things.
Yeah.
So it's
like Aardman, they definitely have their own style of the way their plasticine figures look. Very
much so. The lines are never quite straight. Things are always just a little bit crooked, and it's not from a lack of craftsmanship. It's very much intentional. But no, I mean the characters, the setting. I mean, I found the film overall very charming. I mean, yeah, fairly predictable for anybody who's seen any number of movies ever. But
yes.
But it managed to tell its story without really becoming too predictable. I mean, it got the audience wanting to go with it and not try to think too much ahead.
Yeah, it's very fun.
It was a lot of fun. There were some silly gags that were clever in the way they were presented. There was a bit about a street sign, which is not something.
Yeah.
Who makes a joke about a street sign?
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, it's a very good film. I had seen both. I'm a fan of Leica in general, and I have seen both Coraline and Paranorman. And this one's definitely more kiddie than the other two examples from them, and it's because the other two are very much more dark fantasy than this one. I mean, this one is it's a fantasy story with monsters in it, but it isn't like it's more akin to like a Jim Henson monster.
It's less fantastical. there are these trolls, these box trolls, but there's not a whole lot of magic or mad science or such.
Mm-hmm. It's almost steampunk in areas.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's and that's just because of the time frame it's taking place in, probably more like. But yeah, it's very fun. It's very good. I would have liked to see like a perhaps a more darker version of it, but I don't think it would have necessarily been better. It was sort of nice to see Leica branch out a little bit to try to make something a little, like this is. I didn't walk away from this movie like I did from Paranorman and Coraline, being like, "Is this too scary for certain children?" And that it's not like that at all with this movie.
No, I didn't get that out of it at all. There were certainly some darker elements to it, and some moments that were intended, and I think effectively, scary for younger children. This is not for the youngest kids necessarily, but on the whole, I think it was a bit more approachable than their previous work.
Yeah. The other work has more of a 12 to 13 kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, this one was definitely like a 6 and up kind of feeling, and that's not bad.
Yeah. And I feel it worked for the general audience. It was because this movie's been out for a few weeks at this point. It was a smaller room when I went to see it, but it was a pretty well filled house. I mean, and there were some families and parents with a little bit younger kids, and I think they all took it pretty well. They didn't necessarily get all the jokes or notice everything that was going on, but they seemed to enjoy themselves and not get too scared. There were some gasps and things. I think they reached their target audience for the most part with this.
Right, and I actually saw it in 3D, which wasn't particularly necessary, but I had fun.
Yeah, I wondered about that because I did see it in 2D.
Mm-hmm. It didn't really. It didn't detract, but it didn't necessarily add either. But I don't know. It was fun. It's sometimes fun to see something in 3D, even if it isn't that important. Yeah. So perhaps not worth spending the money to see it in 3D, but still worth seeing, I'd say. As for a grade, I'd definitely give it a solid B. I liked this not as much as I liked the other two things. But I do think it's very good. I think it has a very good rewatchability factor, and would possibly be, like our podcast last week, could possibly be something that people would watch to get in the mood for Halloween.
Oh, sure.
In years to come.
Yeah. I can't really speak to Coraline, but Paranorman also on that front would fit as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I'll say B as well. I mean, this was very, very good. Not a great film, but it was littered with little Easter eggs and things for the sharp-eyed viewer to notice, and some of which pay off later in the movie if you notice them earlier on. And there's if you do go see the movie, and I do recommend that you do, there's a great little sort of a stinger a little bit into the credits. Yeah. It's not all the way to the end. You don't have to stay all the way through. But
it's almost a tag scene, but not really. Yeah.
But it was clever, and it was cute and funny, and also offered a bit of insight into the creative process, I think.
Mm-hmm. Which is something Leica likes to do.
So, speaking of sharp-eyed viewers, those sharp-eyed viewers out there among you may notice this is not episode 10.
Yep.
Hilarious. This is episode 11. Episode 10. We did record episode 10, in which we reviewed the new David Fincher movie, Gone Girl, with Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. However, due to
technical difficulties,
a
friend of mine in Korea ended up being like, there's something wrong with the episode, and yeah.
Things happened.
Yeah, we'll just say things happened. That's a good way to put it.
So, real quick recap on that. A from me, it was a very, very well-made movie. with qualifications that this is not necessarily a movie for everybody.
Right. It almost might not be a bad idea to double feature with the other film we reviewed, to be like, go see Gone Girl and then go see BoxTrolls as like a palate cleanser.
You'll feel better afterward.
You'd feel better afterward, that's for sure. It was an A- for me, going off of the fact that I feel like David Fincher has done better, but it is probably his most exemplary. If I were going to say, what does a David Fincher film look like? I would say it looks like Gone Girl. And I thought everyone did a very good job in it. It was well acted, well adapted from the book. I had read the book, and I thought it was very good. Would not be surprised if it's. I think neither of us would have been surprised if it's on the lists for various things come Oscar season.
Yeah. This is awards fodder for sure.
Sure.
BoxTrolls maybe not as much, although I don't know that there's a great deal of competition in the animated category this year.
Right, I wouldn't be surprised if it's up. For animated,
yeah, stop motion animation is still fairly rare.
Yeah, it could be between it and Book of Life for a slot in the nomination, because I don't know. It depends if there's 3 or 5 nominees this year. That's really a thing that happens a lot with the animated race.
Yeah, that's true, and Pixar not in the running, no entry from them this year.
Yeah, and Big Hero 6 will probably get mentioned at least. But,
well, yeah, we'll see. Speaking of the Book of Life, look for our review of that coming next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that about does us for now. So,
yeah.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, everyone.
Bye. Bye.